part of my work here at Embarc Collective is allowing people to be seen. Founders as individuals or our members potentially are only known from the successes or failures of their business. It's really important to me that they have an identity as an individual. Certainly they're an extension of their businesses, but they're also people. We value them as individuals. We genuinely care about their well-being, not just the successes of their business.
Hello, hello. We are here for the Art and Healing Painting Conversation, and we are at Embarc Collective in downtown Tampa. I'm so excited to be here with Courtney, who does all things membership and community. She's really big on building community here at Embarc, and she's doing a phenomenal job. So I'm so excited to be here with Courtney to be able to hear more about your story as we paint together.
I'm looking forward to it very much. But yeah, happy to be invited to participate. But yeah, I work on all things membership and community here, just creating the stickiness and connectivity between our members or founders here at Embarc.
Absolutely. I love it. Okay, perfect. So we can get started with painting, and as we're painting, I'll just ask you some questions and just get to know you and all things Courtney.
Let's do it.
Okay, perfect. For people who may not know what Embarc Collective is, can you tell us what is Embarc?
Yes, so Embarc Collective is actually a nonprofit that was built to support founders and business in the Tampa ecosystem. We have since broadened a bit to say that we support founders in the entire state of Florida, but really the idea is to support our local ecosystem, not necessarily the businesses, but the founders as individuals. We're very founder focused here. We offer different services such as coaching with different functional experts. We have community programming, which I work on very closely. We also have educational programming. We also have an amazing open collaboration space. We have 32,000 square feet here, so we're very fortunate in that regard.
Oh, wow. So how long have you been with Embarc?
I've been with Embarc for about 7 going on 8 months now, which sounds like a short period of time, but I really am starting to feel like a vet already.
Really?
Yeah.
So what has that journey been like for you? How did you, I guess, enter the startup entrepreneurship nonprofit space? Like, what has led you up to this point?
That's a great question. So I actually, super fun fact, my background is actually in environmental science, marine and environmental science to be exact.
What?
Which is probably why I gravitate to the blue immediately. But so my sort of entrepreneurship and tech journey started with supporting companies that were focused on ocean-based innovations. So you could say companies that were focused on innovations in the blue economy space is generally how we refer to it. But then when I relocated to Tampa, I learned about Embarc Collective and was really interested in getting involved on the community aspects of supporting founders. So less of the technical coaching and more of supporting the entire founder experience and journey, the holistic approach to supporting founders rather than focusing, specifically on the actual innovation itself. And so that is how I ended up here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what made you interested in marine biology? Like, how did you, was that like an inner child's joy, like a child dream, or like what interests you about it?
It was. I definitely was that kid that, even though I'm from Ohio, grew up in Ohio.
Pretty landlocked.
Pretty landlocked, but we do have a lot of water. We have, yes, a lot of creeks and rivers and quarries. And I was that kid that was always playing in the creeks and the quarries, like catching tadpoles and that sort of thing. And just like nature in general, I always wanted to camp outside in my backyard, just love nature. And then also, I don't know about you, but I was also part of that generation that had this Lisa Frank notebooks.
Yes,
and so
I love
the ones
those.
with the dolphins on it, of course. And
I would get those coloring books all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Had to be my backpack.
Yes.
And then, yeah, like just to wrap it up, my parents took me to SeaWorld when I was 6, which as an adult, I have personal feelings about SeaWorld, but at the time,
Agreed.
quite fun for a child.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually got to participate in the dolphin show with the trainers.
What?
So I got to go backstage, feed the dolphins. I got to like participate during the show. And that was it for me. I was 6 years old and my destiny was set. So I didn't look back.
What? That's the coolest experience to be able to like be with the dolphins and just I agree on the, as an adult, the complexities of that type of organization, but that experience being able to interact with
That's
the
right.
marine animals so closely, especially as a child, I bet that was like
Yeah.
your day was made.
Oh, my life was made. Like I never looked back. I did consider maybe a couple of other things like medical school and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I pretty much knew from the beginning that that's what I was going to
Oh,
pursue.
wow.
Yeah.
And I was happening to look at your LinkedIn. So you used to be
Yeah.
at NOAA?
Yeah. So my first gig was an intern at NOAA, actually. So I started very, very young as a researcher at NOAA, which is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it there. They also, shout out to NOAA, they also paid for a lot of my graduate education, even
That's
some of my
huge.
undergraduate education. Yeah, so organizations or government agencies like NOAA are super important for the sciences. But
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I started there and I sort of made my way through the ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
I did sort of discover pretty early on that even though I had that scientific background,
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to lean into my soft
Oh,
skills, if you
cool.
will.
Mm-hmm.
And so I realized that I really wanted to sort of work at the intersection of science and people,
Mm-hmm.
and communicating science to people and decision makers. And so I sort of launched all the way into sort of the policy side
Oh, wow.
of science. And yeah, worked in the policy space domestically and internationally for many, many moons.
Wow. And what did you, I guess, like about that experience? What do you feel like kind of helped you going through that experience, help you get to where you are now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I learned that at this, I would say the nexus of all of it
Mm-hmm.
is innovation. Everybody is
Mm.
always looking for an innovative approach to solving a problem, no matter what that might be.
Mm-hmm.
And what I realized is working sort of with a lot of nonprofits and agencies, innovation was something that was lacking, I would say, historically.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things are business as usual. And so I really got a lot of my energy from incorporating new and innovative techniques to solving existing problems. And that's really what you do as a founder. You identify a problem and you identify a solution and bring those together. And so I like to think everybody is really a founder in their own way.
Mm. I love that. That makes it so that it's even more like one inclusive, and then also like as a founder, there's a lot of creativity that goes into it. There's depending on what industry you're in, you can always
Sure.
apply that into entrepreneurship and becoming a founder. And
Absolutely.
even if you're like an entrepreneur, because what's cool about what you all do at Embarc
Yeah.
is like you're supporting entrepreneurs, but within the organization, you're also innovating. You're also exploring what ways can you support the local entrepreneurship
That's
community
right.
in a totally different way.
Absolutely. I love the way you summarize that. And I think, especially here at Embarc Collective, with Embarc being a nonprofit, we're always trying to be innovative in our approaches, be thoughtful with our resources, think of creative ways to support our founders that are cost effective as a nonprofit,
Mm-hmm.
but also making sure that we're providing the best services that we possibly can. And I
Mm-hmm.
think a big part of that is partnerships, right? Like leaning on our existing ecosystem to
Mm-hmm.
really be thoughtful about making those resources go as far as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what founders do every day, right? Especially if you're
That's true.
a founder that's bootstrapping, right? Like maybe you've made the decision not to raise. You're always trying to be a little scrappy as well. So I think those are where some of the synergies are.
Wow. And in your time of being here, what type of, I guess, innovations have you seen that, I guess, catch your eye? Is there anything
Oh,
that
that's
comes to mind?
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's easy for me. So, I would definitely have to say for me, the ones that catch my attention, especially as of late, are the ones in the health tech space.
Mm.
So, unfortunately, I lost my dearest and closest friend, and longest friend
Mm-hmm.
to leukemia this year.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry to hear
so,
that.
thank you.
Mm.
And so, we do have some members that
Mm-hmm.
focus on cancer technologies,
Ooh.
different innovations for like radiotherapy, et cetera. And so, yeah, I would definitely say those are the innovations that always catch my attention and make me want to just sort of lean in even more,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. And thank you for sharing kind of the personal story
Yeah.
behind it too, where it's like when it comes to building startups, it's not just about building the technology. There's sometimes a personal story. So for you to be able to see a startup that is, I guess, finding solutions in a space that hit close to home for you, that's pretty cool to be able to
Yeah.
witness somebody creating an innovation that's going to help.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. It just makes me think like, oh, I wish we had those innovations sooner.
Yeah.
But better late than never, I suppose. But
Yeah,
yeah, those are
absolutely.
the ones that stand out to me for sure.
And what would you say, what's that process, or what does that journey look like being able to build community here at Embarc? Like, I feel like nowadays community is the hot term. People are trying to build community, whether it's digitally or in person. So what does that look like for an organization like Embarc to do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for me, a big portion of building community is letting the community sort of self organize and
Mm.
self identify. And so at Embarc Collective, we certainly attempt to be very thoughtful about our facilitation and giving our members the tools that they need to build their community and come alongside them, but also giving them the space that they need to vocalize how they would like to see their community operate.
Mm-hmm.
And also being thoughtful about being inclusive, right? So some people within our community like really facilitated activities, right? Like very, very planned to the T, even partnering them up with people because maybe they're not as accustomed to naturally mingling on their own.
Mm.
Or some people like the freedom to be able to lean in when they want, take a break when they want. And so we try to be thoughtful about our community services, that we're meeting everyone where they're at,
Mm-hmm.
and be thoughtful about that. And then also just having a mix of opportunities. We have members here that are parents, and we have
Oh,
members here that
wow.
are, maybe caregivers for others, or members that have, you know, um, other commitments or whatever the case may be, or members that spend part of their time in a different state, even a different country.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to be thoughtful that we're being equitable about our community offerings as well. I think that goes a long way.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. And it's cool because I've known the team at Embarc like since it was before this was even a physical location. Because I
Yeah.
remember way back in the day, I met Allie when she just started her conversations with the Vinnick team to be able to come to
Wow.
Embarc. And that was
Yeah.
like, I think it was 2018, 2019.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
it's so cool to see how much the organization has grown and expanded over the
Yeah.
past, what, 6, 7 years now?
That's right. Yeah.
It's wild, and it's like it's so cool how it's such an important part of the Tampa Bay community, because now everyone knows this as the main space to be able to get that entrepreneurial help, to get that acceleration as you're building your startup.
Absolutely. It's definitely grown, and we're super excited about the foundation that we've had under
Mm-hmm.
Lakshmi's leadership and when Ali was here at Embarc Collective.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim, our current CEO, has done a great job about picking up the baton and running with it, and being able to really himself be an innovator and think, okay, how can
Mm-hmm.
we build on this amazing platform that we have? How can we make it more robust? How can we meet our current members where they're at now? Things have changed, right? Like some of the
Yeah.
members that we had join in, as early as 2019, started in our open collaboration space and have grown to some of our larger offices, and even the services that, that they need have changed. And so just being flexible, I think, is really important, especially when you're building a platform and community like we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. And maybe taking a quick little side note, I know that you're also a mother to a beautiful son.
I am.
So what is that journey like for you as a woman, as a mother, and continuing to like grow in your journey, both career-wise and personally, and kind of how does that all come together for you?
That is a great question. It is definitely one of those things where I have had to grow to accept that balls will be dropped, just completely transparently. I definitely can't take credit for this sentiment, but I've heard someone once say, like, you are going to make those sacrifices. You just have to determine for yourself what you're willing to sacrifice, right? Because the reality of the situation is, if I'm showing up 100% present at my son's, school activity, then I'm not physically here. But just being thoughtful enough to know where I can take the moment to sort of bridge those two worlds of being a very active and present mother, but also a professional. And also just being appreciative for an organization like Embarc Collective, which is, sensitive to the fact that my son is my number one priority, and being able to have the flexibility that I need to show up as a parent, because I think being a parent and having that experience and nuance of what it's like to be a parent is only a benefit to my role as a community organizer, right? It helps me to bond with the members that are also parents themselves. It helps me to be more sensitive to the fact that people might have other commitments in home lives. Being a mother makes me more patient, and that shows up as well in my work. I would say it also makes me scrappy. It makes me be able to pivot more effectively because there are some days where my son doesn't want to get ready to go to school on time and mommy needs to take a call from the car. So I would say those skills translate. But just being thoughtful and acknowledging that, you can't do it all, right? And just be thoughtful, acknowledge it, accept it, embrace it even. I would say it's what works for me, but I feel like being a parent is so personal and everybody has to figure out what works for them. But I would say that's generally what works for me.
Oh, I love that. And do you feel like do you consider yourself a creative person? Do you
Absolutely.
tend to do like
you
painting?
can't tell?
Absolutely. I definitely can. I'm just curious, like what type of maybe mediums are you, I guess, exploring, or how do you use creativity in your own life or in your your child's life?
That's a great question. So my son actually did get like an art easel and a paint set for Christmas this year. I have a family full of creatives, which is great. We all like different mediums. I have a sister who's an amazing painter. My nieces and nephews, my sister-in-law, they all love to paint as well. We paint with the kids probably almost every weekend, no matter what household we're in. So painting is certainly a medium that we like. I prefer acrylics over watercolor myself, a bit of a control freak. Watercolor is hard to manipulate.
It sure is,
But I would say my personal favorite medium is actually fashion.
Fashion. I can see that. 'Cause every time I've seen you, you've always had a stellar outfit on.
Thank you.
I love that.
Thank
So why
you.
fashion? Like what about it?
Because it's like myself, my body, my person becomes the canvas.
Yes.
And so I'm able to express myself daily. And so it's one of those things where, I think style is just such a great medium for self-expression. And so it's one of those things where every day it's an opportunity to be creative, right? Every morning I can get up and release some of those creative juices and energy into getting dressed for the day. It helps me. I also sometimes transparently, you only feel as good as you look.
That's true.
So if I can get up and put on something that I like, that might help brighten my day a little later if I have a tough meeting, tough conversation. Sometimes it really helps.
I agree.
I don't know if it works for everybody, but it works for me.
I am the same way because I'm the type of person who, like, back in the day with, like, during pandemic, everybody would be in their pajamas for, like, the
Totally
working from home, which is cool. That was a great perk. But I also see how important it is to be able to, like, I see it as a way of expression, like being able to explore what mood am I in today? And am I more in a flowery mood, or am I more in a chill, comfy mood? And so it's cool because it's kind of like my way of exploring how can that fashion or how can that outfit kind of put me in the mindset for what I want to feel that day.
I love that. I totally agree. It definitely can help set like a mindset thing. And I also think the only thing I would add that I like about it is it's a bit of a conversation starter, and sometimes it brightens other people's day, right? Like if I'm wearing something that might be like a little fun, especially like in an office setting, which can be rigid. Not here at Embarc Collective, as you can see, we're pretty fun. But yeah, like if I can wear something that's maybe a little fun into like a more serious meeting, like lightens the mood a little bit, adds a little sunshine to other people's day, even occasionally like encourages other people to be, maybe a little bit more creative with their choices, and just, I think it, affects other people. I hope it affects other people as much as it affects.
Absolutely.
That's the goal. That's the goal, right?
And that's one thing I did notice today, because when I noticed your outfit, I'm the type of person who's like, fashion, like, if we can meet fashion and comfort in the same place, that's pristine.
Oh, yes.
Because it's hard to like dress up and you're not comfortable. But when you're comfortable, it's the best feeling.
It
so like what
is.
you're wearing right now, I'm like, oh, I would totally sign up for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I love comfort. And I mean, that goes back to being a mom too. Like,
oh, that's true.
I have my son is 2, so I need to be able to run after him. He also uses me as a human jungle gym, so I need to be
You always need to be ready
to move, and I'm not going to sacrifice my fashion.
That's right.
Yeah, so absolutely, comfort is in there.
I love that. And from your journey, what advice would you give to your younger self, or to a lady who's in the process of growing in her own career?
Yeah.
Because you've gone through it sounds like you've gone through a journey of pivoting in some ways by pivoting industries.
1,000,000%.
While also knowing that the thread line between everything is, it seems like you're fascinated with innovation and fascinated with like those shifts that are happening in industries to make a difference.
I am, absolutely. Like, I would say it's one of those things. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Advice. Oh, goodness. I mean, I think you nailed it on the head. Like, my biggest advice to anyone, no matter what the subject matter is it's okay to pivot. I would say, to maybe elaborate on that a little bit, is, like, embrace the off ramps, like, and be on the lookout for them, right? Because I'm the type of person, only speaking for myself, I'm very laser focused. Once I get an idea in my head, I'm pretty committed to it, a bit impulsive at times, but just being, as I continue to grow and mature, just being thoughtful about, if you plan opportunities for those off ramps or pivots, even along the way, it's a little bit more digestible. So just like planning ahead, being okay to just like take a moment, assess the situation, but also understanding that even if speaking for myself, I definitely pivoted, and it was one of those things where it was a bit of a digestion process, in the sense that I'm like, I'm really interested in innovation. It moves me. This is something I want to pursue. But does that take away from my experience as a marine biologist, as a policy leader? And what I had to realize is those pieces of me are not invalidated by trying something new. Those, experiences happened. I acknowledge them. I'm grateful for them. And certainly, if that's something that I ever want to revisit in the future, like, if that door is always open, but also just being okay to embrace things that you want to pursue. It's okay to want to pivot. I think we all grow and develop different interests along the way. And, like, even if you're an accountant and you decide you want to go to medical school, do that. right? Like if you're a doctor and you decide you want to pursue professional dancing, do that. I don't know. Like just life is short, I think, personally, and without getting too deep, I think you should always try to pursue your passions.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I am totally okay with going deep because I'm actually very similar, not in the marine biology space, but for me, I actually started in journalism. So
Oh, wow.
this experience is like my way of being able to bring back my journalism roots, but in a redefining what journalism could look like, in the sense of you can still explore people's like stories and journeys, and it doesn't always have to look like breaking news. Yeah, but I had to give myself grace because there was a point where I was like, wait, I feel myself shifting away from this industry that I thought was going to be my dream job. Very similar to you. I was like, I think 10 years old when I went on a career day field trip because they knew that my favorite subject was writing. And they took me on a field trip to the Miami Herald. That's where I grew up, Miami.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, to be able to shadow a journalist. And I was like, this is the life, this is the career I want to do. So as I got older in that, I was able to experience some really cool milestones in my career, like working at CBS News, their morning show.
Amazing.
So it's like things like that younger Sabrina would have been like, what? She experienced that? But then when I started moving away from the industry, I had to give myself grace and realize it's okay to pivot. It's okay to explore what else is beyond the horizon. Just because you had your sights on one thing, as you get older, as you explore more and learn more about yourself, it's okay to have new interests and new passions that you can explore. And maybe you just like reimagine what that looks like. So I'm glad that you shared for you, even though the industry has shifted, it sounds like your heart is connected to innovation, no matter what industry or what company it is.
Yeah, no matter what innovation it is. And I would say like people that are maybe exploring a career pivot by interest or by force or whatever the case may be, I think my advice remains the same in the sense that if you look hard enough and if you think creatively enough, there are synergies, right? Like exactly what you're doing today, exactly what you just said. There are those synergies. And so I feel like it's on us to be able to communicate those through lines, right? Communicate where the synergies are so that when we're advocating for ourselves and these opportunities for pivots, we're able to tell our story in a way that connects with the audience for sure, whoever that might be. Maybe the audience is someone you're trying to convince to hire you, or maybe the audience is, someone that you're trying to inspire. Just being able to communicate and tell your story. The synergies may not be as obvious to the naked eye, but as long as you see the opportunities, I think that's what matters. Yeah.
Absolutely. For me, that's one of the reasons why I love bringing these type of like paint experiences to entrepreneurial communities, because it can be very easy to get into logic brain of to-do list, numbers, performance, but creativity is also just as important because that's where the innovation comes in. You have to think outside the box. You have to explore what your voice is, or how can we express this message in a different way. So it's really fascinating when you think of creativity beyond just, painting, having fun.
Exactly. Like being a creative thinker in general. Like I think it's one of those,
Thanks.
I think it's one of those things where certainly painting is maybe an obvious one, more low-hanging fruit, if you will. But creativity comes up in everything, right? I think it's funny to me how we talk about like strategic thinking. To me, that's just like a very eloquent way of saying creativity or thinking creatively, right?
Agreed.
It's just more accepted professionally to say strategic, right? And not creative. But to me, it's very much the same thing. I'm sure someone would disagree, but so I always think about that when I'm in positions where I have to work on like strategy documents or whatever the case may be. Just trying to bring as much creativity into it as possible. Because one thing I think that also translates, especially in this particular community, is everybody loves new ideas, right? And usually if you're being a creative thinker, the idea is going to be maybe not new to you, but
Mm-hmm.
new to your audience.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody loves new ideas. Honestly, probably shouldn't say this, but even if it's a bad idea, if it's
Yeah.
something they've never heard before, people are immediately intrigued,
Yeah.
right?
True.
They're like, that's different. Yeah. Could work, could
Yeah.
not work.
Especially nowadays.
Impossible, who knows? But
Yeah.
everybody loves a new idea.
Exactly. And so because you mentioned like with you and your family, that's beautiful that you all have such a creative flow
We
in the
do.
family.
Yeah.
How do you feel like it sounds like your weekend or your weekly paint sessions, how does that, I guess, help you all come together as family, or like how do you see creativity important for you all as a family and your family bond?
Absolutely. I think it's really important to us. It's an opportunity to sort of step out of the day-to-day grind, like especially when you're a professional and a parent, which everyone in my family is. Like, for example,
Wow.
my brother's a dentist and a father, and my sister-in-law is a nurse practitioner and a mother, and my sister works for the government and is a mother. And so anyway, so we all navigate professionalism and parenting. And it gives us an opportunity to sort of step away from just being busy all of the time to come together and just have a moment. We do less, we honestly do less paying attention to what we're actually creating and more just like talking and communicating. And really, like, I think the best way to summarize it is it gives us an opportunity to fellowship,
Aww.
is how I would describe it, and sort of just slow down, right? Because when you're a parent, you spend a lot of time in your car and taking kids to and from.
I bet.
And so just taking the opportunity to take a breath, fellowship together, and then also just getting inspired from the kids. So the kids in my family are roughly between 14 and 2. And so seeing that range and seeing them all express themselves differently is really beneficial for us. Like, it gives us like new energy, I would say, because sometimes, when you're working all day or whatever the case may be, some of the creativity can just be unintentionally drained from you. But then just seeing like the kids, seeing things through their lens re-energizes me for sure.
So how would you say, part of what I'm doing is being able to show how art is a healing tool or can be used for healing. How has art been healing for you, or creativity been healing for you or for your family?
Yeah,
What is that connection to art for you?
absolutely. I think for me personally, I will say it's been great for creating healthy habits. So, I can share historically when I'm, feeling down or whatever the case may be, I personally like, I, I like, okay, I need a good meal. I want to eat this. I want some ice cream. I want that. Or I want to go shopping because I like fashion. So guilty, shopping therapy. But art and being creative, painting, ceramics, whatever the case may be, has given me maybe a more healthy way to deal with sort of stresses of life. And so I would say it's been an opportunity to just sort of release some of those tensions in maybe a more healthy way than retail therapy for sure.
Probably less expensive too.
Less expensive too. But I would say for my son, I definitely see it's been a benefit to him in the form of like just exploring. He's very young. He's 2 years old. So he's navigating new emotions, and it gives him an opportunity to channel things. Like, even though he's so young, he very much already understands that like there are connections between emotions and colors and feelings, and it's amazing. Like, I can tell when like he draws, like if it's like scribbling really hard, I'm like, oh, he's frustrated about something, usually because I didn't give him fruit snacks. But I can tell he'd be like, and then when I can tell he's like in a jovial mood and he's happy, he'll just be like lightly going like this, and like, yeah, I can tell, like I can really pick up on like his mood. And when he's being creative, it's amazing that already so early you can pick up on some of that. But I think, I'm no doctor, but I think there are actually some stats around this, like sort of like art therapy, if you will, for children. So I have read is very successful. And so it's definitely something I plan on continuing to do with my kid anyways.
That's fascinating that you get to see his like personality and his mood for the day.
Oh,
Instead of a mood ring, it's a mood
absolutely.
painting.
It is. It is. Yeah. It is amazing. And it just creates like the segue to talk about it. Like I think sometimes people think when like kids are really young, like you have to talk to them like they're babies or something. But
Yeah.
I talk to my son like an adult. And so I'll ask him about his painting, like, oh, why did you pick that color? Yeah, like that's interesting. What is that swirl? And we'll talk about it. And his responses are not always necessarily enlightening, but sometimes they are
Yeah.
actually. And he's able to communicate himself very well. And even if the dialogue might not be exhaustive, he really appreciates the fact that I'm curious about it. He loves showing me what he made, even with building blocks. Mommy, I made this. He loves like showing me, and he loves the fact that like I'm interested in knowing, well, why did you pick that color block? You know, why did you make it that tall? You know, like he's very, very appreciative of that interest.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
I love hearing about motherhood journeys and just, what that looks like, being able to
Yeah.
bring a child into this world and help them learn about different things and learn about themselves, especially that young at 2.
Yeah.
He has a beautiful long road ahead of him. So it's so beautiful that you're already guiding him through that experience
Thank
and
you.
bringing him these different resources.
Thank you. Thank
Absolutely.
you. I'm willing to try almost anything that's healthy and productive. Disclaimer.
Yeah.
Anything that's healthy and productive. And I think it's just going to make him a more well-rounded individual anyway. For example, like we've heard and you'll hear people say like, be immediately turned off from like the creative space. Like, oh, I'm not a creative.
Yeah.
My brain doesn't work that way. I'm not a painter. I'm not a, whatever the case may be. Whereas he's too young to know what he is or he isn't. And so if I give him these tools now, or at least expose him to these things now, maybe growing up, he'll say, oh yeah, I used to do that all the time with my family. Yeah. And whether he thinks he's good at it or not, at least he has that tool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like, that's what I do my best to share and encourage with other people whenever they do say that they're not creative, is that kind of like what Tim was saying. It's sometimes that thing where you tell yourself when you're at some point that you're not XYZ, but sometimes if we don't put labels to it, or if we don't put pressure on it or think that it has to be perfect, sometimes you could just do it for fun. So it's okay to be creative just for the fun of it, and you don't have to be Picasso.
That's right.
You could just make a few strokes and have fun with the process.
Exactly. Agreed.
Well, we are just about to finish, so I wanted to
Okay.
see, is there anything else you want to share about your career, anything that you want to share about your journey as a woman, as a mother, or the work that you do here at Embarc?
One thing that I would say in summary is that I really feel like part of my work here at Embarc Collective is allowing people to be seen, right? A lot of times founders as individuals or our members potentially are only known from the successes or failures of their business.
Yeah.
And it's really important to me that they have an identity as an individual. Certainly they're an extension of their businesses, but they're also people. And I think that can get lost sometimes. And so I would say that's definitely something that's important to me about bringing to this ecosystem, is that letting them know and making them feel via my actions, our collective actions, that we value them as individuals. We genuinely care about their well-being, not just the successes of their business.
Absolutely. And that's what I love about what you all do here, because you all see founders as a whole human being. It's not just the doers. It's not just the executors who are just getting the work done or getting the investment, the biggest deal. It's like, to make this work sustainable, you have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of your well-being, and that's in all areas: mental, emotional, physical.
Exactly.
So for you all to be setting the tone here as an organization, thinking that way, that's brilliant, because I feel like that's what the future of entrepreneurship looks like is it's not just about the numbers, it's about the person. And how can you take care of that person? Because if not, burnout is real.
Yeah.
And if somebody burns out, it's harder to show up and perform. So what tools can you connect to, or what support systems can you tap into, like Embarc, so you're not having to go on that journey by yourself, or you can at least have the support to learn how to best take care of yourself and your business as you're growing.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, businesses come and go, right? The goal is that they exit, right? We hope that happens, or go public, or, you know, whatever the journey that they're interested in pursuing. But businesses come and go, people don't. And so it's really just thoughtful to remember that.
Exactly. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Courtney. I really appreciate being able to have this time with you and getting to learn more about your story, Miss Marine Biologist Innovator. So it's really exciting, community builder. It's really cool to hear how like your journey helped you get to where you are now, and how you're sharing those insights, whether it's with the entrepreneurs you're building community with, or to someone as important to you as your child, as your son.
Thank you.
So thank you for making this time and sharing your thoughts. And thank you again for the amazing opportunity to have hosted a paint gathering here at Embarc.
We loved it. We loved it. The founders are still talking about it. So we definitely, we need a part 2 for sure. I think our CEO wants to participate next time.
Yes, absolutely. Well, just let me know and I'd be happy to be here with all the paint supplies.
That's right.
Where can people find you? Do you want people to be able to connect with you on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram?
I'm a LinkedIn person, so they can connect with me on LinkedIn. It's just Courtney McGeechee. Please do add me on LinkedIn. I do have an Instagram, but it's basically a photo album for my baby, so not super entertaining. So LinkedIn is probably the best bet. We'll have to put these on the wall.
Well, thank you, Courtney, and have a wonderful day.